welcome back to the Disability Channel. I'm your host, Rachel Handler, and I'm so excited to welcome Casey Marshall to the show. Casey is such a phenomenal person, and I'm thrilled she agreed to be interviewed today. I would love to talk to her about, her journey to New York, because she's not a native New Yorker like most New Yorkers. We all travel to the city with our hopes and dreams from somewhere else in the country. So Casey, thank you so much for being here. I would love for you to just, introduce yourself, where you're from, all the good stuff.
Yeah, I grew up in Danville, Indiana, and I moved to New York in 2019, so right before the pandemic and everything hit. But I studied here in, I think it was 2017, and that's when I really fell in love with New York and knew this is where I wanted to be.
Awesome. Awesome. So 2017, you traveled here. Were you here for a vacation, a work trip, school?
It was for school. I did a semester here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. What did you learn while you were here? Was there an experience you had or something that you really loved while you were here that inspired you to want to move here?
Yeah, I got to go to my first New York Fashion Week, which was really cool. Yeah, that was an amazing
Amazing.
experience. I got to see 2 shows and do the lines out front, which is, like, part of the experience, I feel like, where they come and take pictures and all of that stuff, but I really enjoyed that, and I think that made me very excited and loved just, like, the atmosphere here and, like, the fashion scene.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you remember what those two shows were by any chance?
Yeah, it was, Leanne Marshall was the one. I was an intern for Leanne Marshall at the time.
So cool. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I am such a fan of New York Fashion Week. I think I've never been to like Paris Fashion Week or London Fashion Week, but I do think New York is really paving the way in a lot of ways. Because we have Runway of Dreams, which is really
Yes.
special. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how we met. Gosh, 2019, I think at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Runway of Dreams, for those who don't know, is just an amazing organization. I think I've mentioned them before, but they put on fashion shows and always hire and include models with disabilities. And the fashion is all adaptive, which is really cool. I still wear my Nike adaptive sneakers that they gifted me every day. There are zippers instead of shoelaces and Velcro, so you can easily do it with one hand. It doesn't require much dexterity. Kizik is another brand of shoes that is really great. Have you heard of Kizik, Casey? Have you
I
worked with them at
haven't.
all?
No.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They, I think, are actually sponsored by Nike, maybe. And they are hands-free shoes, so you can just slide them on, and they're super cute.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. Do you remember what you wore for that fashion show, Casey?
Definitely, yeah. I had some really cool Vans, that had a Velcro opening to make them easier to get on. I love wearing Vans, and I still wear my those shoes from the show as well. And then I had Tommy Hilfiger jeans, that had Velcro openings. And then I wore a Vans, crop shirt because I'm so short that usually crop shirts fit me, better, just, lengthwise. And then it was a Vans jacket that had the checkered board down the sleeve, which I loved.
Nice. Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome. I remember that outfit. That was so cute.
it was
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. And I think that year we were all wearing like Zappos Adaptive and Tommy Adaptive. Maybe Kohl's. I forget if Kohl's was there yet. Yeah. But I mean, now I just went to the Runway of Dreams fashion show with the Disability Channel last year, 2021, September. And there are more designers and more clothes selling adaptive wear, it seems, than ever before. Has that been your experience? Are you seeing a growth in this movement?
Definitely. It's exciting to see it grow because I think we went from, whenever I was in high school, I didn't see anything like this.
Yeah.
And we progressed so like fast with it. Brands are popping up all the time. And I think with that too is you see more representation in like Target with their ads. And I don't know, I think brands are like finally taking notice, which is awesome.
Yeah, it really is, and they're making money, it's the
Yeah.
money makes the world go round, and when you forget about 25% of the population living with a disability, you're missing out on money from that part of the population who
Right.
want to buy cute clothes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah. I'm just curious, as, someone with a disability, growing up with a disability, um, what inspired you to want to work in the fashion industry, especially when there weren't a lot of brands focused on adaptive wear? There weren't a lot of models even 10 years ago with disabilities. Yeah.
So I always loved fashion. Like even in kindergarten, I had sketchbooks and crayon of my designs. So it's definitely like always been part of my DNA. Like even as as long as I could remember, I would say I wanted to be a fashion designer. But then I started to get more serious about it in middle school and high school when I started to learn how to sew. And I kind of I always kind of had to adapt clothing to fit my body. I have scoliosis, which makes it really hard to wear wovens. Because if you think about how tight and they're definitely made for the standing body and for someone that has a straight spine. So they have no give, and I would really struggle. I would mostly wear knits. And so
Mhm.
I would have to adapt my clothes to be able to fit my body, whether it be hemming my pants, which a lot of people have to do, or my prom dress had to have lots of alterations to be able to fit my body. So I that's when like the wheels kind of started turning for me and how we could make clothing more accessible to people with disabilities.
Wow, wow. Even you just saying those terms, wovens versus knits, I'm like, oh, I guess I've never thought of clothing in that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, like would something like cotton, would that be more of a knit because it gives a little more give, or is that more of a woven?
It depends on how it's used. So yeah, it could be
Okay,
used for either
gotcha.
category. But
Cool.
yeah, a lot, even some of the wovens that have stretch tend to work better because it has a little bit more give, which
Yeah.
kind of gives more adjustability.
Yeah, for sure. I always like, even when I go to the gym, I always lean towards like a looser, stretchy
Yeah,
clothing item than something
yeah,
like super tight because it's so hard to pull over my prosthetic leg.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I remember like working with Runway of Dreams and Zappos Adaptive, them saying like your workout should not be getting your clothes on.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah, I was so that was like a light bulb moment. Like, yeah, why would I deal with that? So now I just have to work a little bit to find clothes that work best for my body. But Nike has some great stuff. And even like I've been able to find some stuff on Fabletics that works really well.
yeah.
But even like some sports bras with all the straps in the back and everything, it's like an Olympic sport to get them like untangled, you know?
It really is.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so what are you up to now that you've been in the city for a
Yeah.
bit? Well, not that long. I mean, what's a year or two? But just wondering, like, are you still working in fashion? How is all of that going?
Yeah, so when I first moved here, I was doing adaptive consulting. So a lot of brands are looking to move into this market, and they don't know how. And so I would come in and kind of help them. Sometimes it's not even an adaptive clothing line. Sometimes it's how does their product currently work for people with disabilities, and how can they market
Mm,
that. And then sometimes it is they want to start an adaptive line, and I come in and I can help them with that. So yeah, I've got to work with some amazing brands to do that, and currently I am working with one company as a associate designer. Uh, but I love fashion and I love a challenge. And I think that adaptive fashion kind of became my passion, because I got to connect something so personal like my disability to what I love, and that is fashion. And it kind of gave it like a higher purpose for me.
I love that. I'm all about the higher purpose of a
Yeah.
job now. Let's take a quick commercial break, and I want to keep discussing what you're working on now and more adaptive fashion. So we will be right back.